Hello and welcome to a brief video presentation on the alignment between the MicroSkills that you are learning in the interviewing and counseling class and the 5-stage interview process normally associated with the case management process. So first we're going to discuss each one of the stages in the 5-stage interview. The first stage is relationship building. And of course, this is using our skills in order to develop a rapport with our clients. Stage 2 is information gathering. We're getting to know the person, and we're also getting to know the situation and the problems and the concerns that person is having, or maybe identifying the barriers that that person is experiencing that keep them from achieving their goals. Stage 3 is when we work with our clients to actually set the goals for the work that we're going to be doing with them. Stage 4 is when we start to develop a vision of how they're going to be acting differently in order to bring about the particular goals that they have set. This runs very akin to my own personal philosophy of the act as if perspective on personal change. This is when we ask our clients, if you had achieved these goals, how would you be acting? Or if you know people who have achieved these kinds of goals, how do they act? And we develop the idea that they can act that way in the process of actually achieving those goals. Finally, we have stage 5, which is the action planning. This is the development of the plan with the steps and the statement of who is responsible for what. Now what we want to do is take a look at how do we use the micro skills that we're learning in the interviewing and counseling class to accomplish each one of these stages. In stage 1, one of the key aspects that we use to build our relationship is that we are paying attention. We are not distracted, and we are also very aware of our surroundings, how someone is acting, their tone of voice, and we're communicating that to them. The next is reflection of feeling. You'll often hear me saying in class that feelings are really the ground on which we want to build in order to motivate someone to bring about change. It's also the way that we connect with people. When we can reflect that we understand how someone is feeling about their situation, that draws them closer to us. And finally, we use the encouraging and paraphrasing and summarizing aspects of our skills in order to continue to have that person build a relationship with us. This communicates to our clients that they're important, that we're following what they're saying, that what they're saying is important, and that we're interested in the details. In stage 2, gathering the story, we primarily use open and closed-ended questions. We're looking for them to talk and give all the details of the particular situation. I often teach that the answer is hidden within the details of the story. Often the client already knows the answer, they simply can't connect their goal to the kinds of behaviors that they can engage in order to solve their problem. So we ask open and closed-ended questions in order to get the story and to get the minute detail that we need in order to understand that client's strengths and the particular barriers that they're experiencing. We also use client observation. This is when we're making observations about the person's history, their circumstances, their environment, the people that they're around, and we become almost like an investigator. If you think about Sherlock Holmes being very aware of all the things that's going on around him when he's trying to solve a case, we are in a very similar situation when we're trying to find solutions for someone's problems. In stage 3, we begin the process of setting goals with our clients. This means that we have to use focusing skills. We can't accomplish all the goals or solve all the problems that a client has all at the same time. So we have to make an effort to help the client focus on what's most important. We can help them prioritize and sequence the kind of activities that they would like to engage in order to improve their lives. We also use our influencing skills. And I placed this particular micro skill into the setting goals because this is when we use, somewhat like encouragement, the other definition of encouragement, not so much like the one that I put into stage 1, but encouragement meaning encouraging that someone could do something, that they could make a change, and bringing that hope and that promise and the potential for a better life and a better future to that person. We can use our own personal influencing skills to do that. In stage 4, again, we're creating that image of what life could be like if those goals were accomplished. This is kind of the challenging part because this is where the rubber meets the road. What kind of changes is the person willing to make in order to bring these goals about? Sometimes this involves confrontation. This is particularly important when someone is beginning the process of setting their goals into motion and they run into failure. They don't fill out the application or they don't show up to the appointment or something like that. But it's also to confront someone's worldview. Someone might feel that they could never work or they could never have friends or they could never go to college. And we have to be able to have the skill to be able to identify the person's skills and relate them to the realities of accomplishing those kinds of goals. This is also the time where we might reflect meaning. What is the big picture here? And sometimes we get caught up in the minutia, or getting people services, or finding transportation, or helping them learn a specific skill. But there's a big picture here. And again, that's where the motivation is. It's the mountain that they want to climb. It's the vision that they see of their life. And the changes that they make today will make profound differences in their life in the future. Stage 5 is when we finally put the plan together as case managers with all the steps and stages and dates and responsibilities that people have to bring this plan about. We use our influencing skills. This is when we push the plan forward and we're trying to use our personal power in order to keep the motivation happening. And finally, we continue to use open and closed-ended questions in our evaluation of how the plan is going, specifically what they would like to do in that plan, any barriers that have happened that have kept that plan from happening. We're continuing to assess at all times to make sure that we understand the details. I hope this has helped you understand the relationship between the micro skills of the interviewing and counseling class and the 5-stage interview process that you'll be engaged in throughout your career as a case manager.